familiar faces, you're going to see new faces, you're going to see footage. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to give you some insights. You guys already know that this particular apocalypse begins in Los Angeles, just a couple hours north of here. Don't say yeah like you want LA to go down first. Be a natural. This is a very population density. Of course, that place would go down pretty fast. I'm now able to announce, if you guys didn't already know, you can watch Fear the Walking Dead. The premiere date is Sunday, August 23rd at 9 p.m. All right, Sunday, August 23rd at 9 p.m. In addition, because a lot of people keep saying, like, are you going to do like a Fear the Talking Dead? And the answer is, well, I don't know. If you watch the first 6 episodes, then probably. If not, then no. But we are definitely going to do one Sunday, October 4th at 10 p.m. for the season finale, the first season finale of Fear and it's just going to be called Talking Dead. So there you go. That's that information. And now I'm going to bring out the executive producers, some of whom you may know, some of whom are new to you. So let's bring out co-creator, executive producer, and showrunner, Dave Erickson. He's first. Bring him out here. Also, executive producer, Dave Albert coming back out. Come on, DA. Are you bringing the curtain shirt again? Executive producer, Galen Hurd is coming back out. And Mr. Greg Nicotero is also on this panel as well. And now, let's meet the cat. I'm so excited to be able to do this for the first time up here. You have no idea how exciting this is. You know, because I'm like SpongeBob energy most of the time. All right, the first person I'm going to bring out, she's playing the part of Madison. Her name is Kim Dickens. Playing the part of Travis, Cliff Curtis. As Nick Frank Delane.
Could you try to do what you did before?
As Alicia Debnam Carey. As Liza Elizabeth Rodriguez. Playing Chris Lorenzo James Henry. As a character by the name of Daniel Salazar, Ruben Blades! And as Ophelia Salazar, Mercedes Mason! Ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 Fear the Walking Dead cast! All right, everyone take a seat. Let's get into this. Oh, your first panel, Dave Erickson. How are you feeling? Are you excited? Are you nervous? What's happening? Are you sweaty? It's gonna be good.
It's just a little overwhelming.
It is a little overwhelming.
No, this is awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, I know. There's people back as far as.
By the way, it's his first Comic-Con panel. Let's give it up for Dave Erickson. Come on.
Don't you screw this up, Dave. I'm kidding. So let's just a little bit for a second talk about why the decision to do the show, why to set it in LA, why is this an important story to tell?
I think it's a Kirkman thing, man. I sat down with Robert the first time he brought this up. He was talking about doing a companion series to the show. And he was like, I said, well, where are we going to set? Where's it going to be? I said, well, here,
Don't give him shit, it's his first panel. He doesn't know he's got to put his face in the microphone.
He said, no, it was less, from the beginning, Robert wanted to have a show that was very distinct and different from the mothership, from the original. So instead of rural Georgia, we wanted a major metropolis, a major city, and be able to see the fall of that city. And the great thing about LA specifically is, it's a place of reinvention. It's a place where people go to forget their past, to become something new. And that thematic created, that sort of plays through most of our characters. We have a lot of people who have done things they're not proud of, things that have been done to them, and it's sort of it was a really great integration of location with character and with story.
So how much, because obviously as the audience, when we're watching Fear, we know, because it's all part of the same universe, we know what's coming up for these people ultimately. So how much does that factor in how you guys are presenting the show, or how you
It's actually part of what's cool about the show. There's this great sense of tension and apprehension because the audience comes to it, you guys come to it knowing what we have in store. And it's this process of watching our characters slowly, build this education and sort of slowly come to understand, because at first glance, they don't know what this is. They don't go to a place where they assume that it's, that these people are the undead. They think, they're sick. They think they're on something. And it's just, we essentially had an opportunity to look at that period of time when, Rick was in his coma, and explore what would have happened if, what happened during those 4 to 5 weeks. What was, what went down and how did people experience that? How did people adjust to the apocalypse as it came down on them?
Because I saw the pilot and it's amazing. And what's great about it, without giving anything away, is that you can feel that it's part of the same universe, but it's not the same show. Tonally, it's not the same show. It's not the same show at all. So you guys just didn't duplicate another Walking Dead.
No, I think it's very much, tonally it's incredibly different. And it's also, it's really more about, for our pilot of the first season, it's the shark you don't see. It's sort of building to a place where we don't get to full apocalypse until later in the season. And that's not to say we don't have walkers, we do. It's not to say we don't have, action and drive, but essentially it starts as a family drama, and we filter the apocalypse through that, And I think what it did was afford us the opportunity to really anchor the show in this family that we're dealing with, in these characters, and then see, how the apocalypse crushes them.
Yeah, because that's ultimately the magic of the story of Walking Dead. Is it's like this environment. It's just watching how this environment affects otherwise normal people, and just seeing how it pushes and pulls people and tears them apart.
Yeah, and it's also the ability to actually watch the fall. I mean, by the end of the pilot in the original show, we get to Atlanta. We get to see what happened to Atlanta. We actually get to show, the process by which the city goes down.
Yeah, because Rick had to go into that coma. He totally missed all of it. So is this timeline-wise, where does this series fall in relation to that one?
It's loosely during Rick's coma. It's loosely, I think Robert's feeling was, Rick was out for 4 to 5 weeks, and this is, 2, 3, 4 weeks of that time. So even when, eventually we get to the end of the season, we're still not necessarily completely caught up.
Right.
We wouldn't end our finale and then cut to Atlanta and Rick, and Rick coming too. But yeah, it was just, there was a lot of elements that I think Robert felt, and then as he brought me into it, I felt there were things to explore that we hadn't had a chance to see because of the coma. Yes.
So you guys haven't seen anything from the show yet, correct? All right. So I think we should just get right in and just show the trailer, so that you guys have an idea of what we're talking about, and then we can just sort of go down and talk to everyone. Do you want to set up the piece at all?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the great thing about the show. Ultimately, is that it is, at its heart, it's a family drama. It's a story of these, a highly dysfunctional blended family trying to hold it together. But we also have the same level of scope, the same epic quality of the apocalypse. And I think we've got to, and I think the trailer actually represents that quite beautifully.
Excellent. So we'll stop talking now, and this is never before seen, which you get to see because you waited in line to get into Hall H. The trailer for Fear the Walking Dead. So let's just talk to the cast and meet everyone and figure out who they are and get in their heads. Kim, let's start with you. By the way, I've been such a huge fan of yours. I just told you backstage how much I love Deadwood. You were amazing at. I mean, Sons of Anarchy, House of Cards. Like, you've done so many amazing shows and so many amazing movies. So how does this role as Madison different, and what can you say about her? Just give us something.
Well, it's a new genre for me, In fact, when I first heard about it, I was asked if I wanted to audition for it, and I thought, I don't know if I fit into that. I can't imagine. And then I read the script, and I thought it was just the most amazing character. So, I was in.
Are you? Did you talk to any of the other cast at all? Did anyone give you advice, like, okay, when you're doing a horror show, if you're doing a zombie show, that it is a little emotionally jarring, this stuff?
Nope, I had no warning.
So how's it been?
Well, it's been really exhausting, and at the same time, the most fun I've ever had. It's fantastic. In the beginning, I had a few nightmares, because I think I was trying to process what I was going through in the day, my subconscious was trying to work it out, but it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Cliff, let's talk about Travis a little bit. What can you say? What's his relationship to Madison? And
Travis. I love Travis. He's an optimist. He's a fixer. He likes to fix things. He's in love with the character Madison. He's got a beautiful ex-wife with Elizabeth, with Liza. Her 2 teenage sons. I don't know if anyone here's got teenagers in their lives. And my own estranged son. So it's a very rich life he's living, and he's sort of a high school teacher, an English teacher. So there's just like me.
And same question for you. Were you emotionally prepared for what the show would be? And because obviously I know when they ask you to sign, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's a Walking Dead show, there's an apocalypse, sure. But actually, like, day to day, kind of dealing with it as a performer, what's it been feeling like?
No, I like to take my work a day at a time, and I had good talks with Gail Ann and with Dave, and it was just really a matter of them saying, we want to focus on this family and their relationships and what's happening in their lives. And the other sort of outbreak stuff, it's going to be in somewhere over there, at least. And when I read the script, I really liked the people. I liked the humanity of the characters, and I sort of thought, well, what's great is that they're completely unprepared. I don't think my character has any apparent sort of skills. You know, he's not like a cop, or he's got no sort of like action figure type sort of skills that would say he'd be handy in that situation. So I think the setup's really strong, and I was intrigued.
Yeah. Frank, down there, what can you, because this is a really interesting panel because no one knows your guys' characters yet. So I can't really ask you anything too in depth other than who are you and how do you fit in. So what can you tell us about Nick, Frank?
Well, it's her son, her brother, and it's difficult. I don't know really that much because it's still, we've only shot the first episode, so I don't know too much about him.
Well, you're in the same boat with the rest of us, who also don't know. But how's it been for you so far working on a series, especially one like this?
Yeah, amazing. It's been hard work. There's we shoot a lot of stuff, so it's been good.
What are they allowed to say about their characters?
They're allowed to say nothing. No, the thing, Frank's character, Nick, is, he is the eldest teenage son of Madison. His dad's passed away some time ago, and, he's in something of a bad way when we first meet him, and it's, what's interesting about, all the characters, but I think Nick in particular, it's the question of, what worked in the old world and what didn't work in the old world. The things about him that make it difficult for him to function may or may not serve him well when the apocalypse comes. And in terms of this question of, reinvention, the ability to sort of build when the shit hits the fan, it's like that's what's intriguing to me about, all the characters, but specifically, Nick he's one of the first ones who gets a sense of what's going on. So he's in some ways kind of a bit of a prophet of the apocalypse. But
I just wanted to hit something that Cliff said, 'cause I think it's actually really, really relevant, is that, in sort of in trying to envision what a companion series would look like, it was trying to figure out not just how from a geographic perspective, how are things different, but, Rick in The Walking Dead is such an alpha, not an obvious leader, but he's a sheriff. He's trained in weapons. He has a real sort of clean sense of right and wrong, right? There's things. It's easy to envision that guy as a leader, right? So what was great when Robert and Dave sort of were trying to come up with the characters, they were really trying to figure out, okay, well, what is a way? What if there's not such an obvious leader? What if we have someone who's an English teacher? Like, he's an English teacher, and she's a guidance counselor, and they have real family problems, and they're starting already. They're having trouble sort of just dealing with the day-to-day of living, right? They don't have everything dialed in, right? Their sort of lives are coming apart a little bit at the seams right now. Like, as the world is good, and then you add on top of that the zombie apocalypse. And what was great is, if you look on the mothership, you look at the way that sort of Carol is transformed from this victim of spousal abuse, and she's become she's become a real badass. I think we're going to see who here goes from sort of being from a coal becomes a diamond, and who's just going to crumble into dust. And I think what's been great about watching the actors bring this to life is that they've really sort of inhabited these roles and sort of filled out those nuances and really made that sort of rich and whole. But I think we're going to see some really interesting people that you expect to be leaders might not necessarily make it. People who you expect that might crumble and fall, they might surprise you as well.
I think one of the most interesting things about the two shows, there's really no comparison. You can't really compare the two shows because they're drastically different. You know, The Walking Dead has these bigger than life characters. You know, Rick's bigger than life and Daryl's bigger than life. What's great about this show is they're everyday people. They're people that you wanna experience with them, like what they would do during a natural disaster. Gail and I were talking this morning about like the Northridge earthquake or something, and like what people do when they're faced with those kinds of situations. And I think the one thing that the two shows do share is the idea that the circumstances change people, and what they change those people into is what's fascinating, to watch those characters change and those people change. And Cliff and I were talking this morning just about being a high school teacher and not necessarily being equipped with, he doesn't have a gun, he doesn't have a sword, it's what he's equipped with to deal with that. And you watch the news and you see these things every day, and then a couple days later it's not relevant in the news anymore, something else comes right on the heels of it. But knowing that society could be unraveling underneath each of these characters as it's happening, and then seeing how they change, I think is what really is at the heart of this show.
Well, that's sort of what we're on the precipice of every single day. It's like, oh, there's an Ebola outbreak. It'll probably be fine. And I would imagine most
right after that, and like, oh yeah, Ebola.
Oh, it's fine. No, someone will fix that. And so, in this type of situation, I'm sure shit starts to go down, and most people are like, oh, they'll figure it out. And then watching people start to realize, oh, no one's figuring this out.
And there is no figuring it out.
And there's no figuring it out.
That's actually, part of the fun initially is the people who start to understand what's going on, the people who don't get it, and that there's quite a fracture between the people who start to get up to speed and are ready and begin to protect themselves, and the people that don't. And it's interesting watching that process and watching, just the education of people coming to realize, okay, this isn't just a virus. This is something that's changed. It's going across the city, across the state, and the country, but it's something that's, it's going to change the world.
But you would react. I mean, all of us here would react the way that our characters react. I mean, you guys are ahead, you've read the comic books, you've watched The Walking Dead, but we would all want to believe this doesn't make sense. They'll figure it out, it'll go away, it'll pass, just like, SARS and Ebola. And you want to believe, because we live in a world of instant sensational media, that they're blowing it out of proportion. But what if they're not?
Right.
And that's what we'll win.
Well, I'll just be in this room and I'm looking back there and I go, how long if there was an outbreak here? If it started back there, 7 minutes to get to here, by the way? You what? There's doors right there, yeah, but not for those people. No, oh yeah, screw everyone else as long as you're okay, right? That's all.
So these guys will be fine down there.
Yeah, you guys will be okay, so you're not sweating, but everyone in the middle there. Greg, even the walkers are a little bit more signature to the show, so that it's not, because it's earlier in the process. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about the process of crafting the look of the walkers?
Well, in the first episode of The Walking Dead, it had been, we've been talking a lot about Rick being in the coma and everything. This is much more like somebody that you are sitting next to and you look at them and they don't really look quite well. They just look a little sickly. Your instinct isn't going to be, oh, I should shoot that guy in the head. You're like, oh, they probably don't feel well. Or, you generally would cross the street if you saw somebody that didn't look quite right. You might be like, oh, they don't, I'd stay away from that person. But for us, we still have a couple of our signature moments in the first couple episodes, but it's not necessarily the decomposition that we do in The Walking Dead, because they haven't been walking around for a year and a half, 2 years. It's much more this character who you saw in the trailer. She's freshly turned. There's a lot of moments that are similar to Emma Bell's transformation in season 1 of The Walking Dead, where you still feel the humanity there, you still see a little bit of life in their eyes, so you're not necessarily afraid of them. You don't feel the aggression or the violence.
But they still want to eat you.
Yes, exactly.
I just want to keep going down the line and talk to Alicia for a sec. So, what can you tell us about your character, who is also named Alicia?
Yeah.
Anything you can say about your relationship to Nick and your relationship to Madison? What's...
Sure. So Alicia is Madison's daughter and obviously the sister of Nick. And she's a high achiever. She's really great at school with kind of frustrating needs, and she's got a lot of ambition. And I think that's probably due to because she's in such a broken family household. You know, she's lost a dad, the brothers are away, like, you know, addicted to drugs. And, so she's had to become very self-sufficient and independent, and so she's just ready to like get out of LA and do her own thing and become someone. And I think that's why it's so heartbreaking, because, you know, she's got a lot to lose because she has so much. You know, she's got somewhere she really wants to go, and she's got really the feathers to fall in a way.
So with the original series, you know, there are adults and then there's Carl.
Yeah.
And so as obviously with Carl, you know, you kind of go, well, as a kid, he's really had to, he does what kids do, which is hyper adapt to the world. But you guys are young adults. So you're sort of in between, you're not kids, but you're not fully formed adults yet. So how do you think that would affect someone in your position?
Totally. I mean, it's going to screw up your hormones even more, probably. Quick development too fast. Yeah, no, it's a really amazing dynamic to explore, and I think it is really interesting because at the end of the day, she still is, you know, a 17-year-old girl. And so there's some really lovely scenes that we shot where it's like, you know, the world's falling apart and she's still having kind of a moment over something a little bit, you know, trivial.
Right.
Because, you know, and it is, you try and justify everything. You want to try and, like, the world's still okay, but you know, you still have those teenager, I guess, little things. So, yeah, no, I think that's going to be, and it's a defining moment too for those teenage characters. That's going to really define kind of where they're going to go. They've got a lot to choose in that moment.
Who do you think's better equipped in an apocalypse like this? A child or a teenager or an adult who's very set in their ways?
That's a really good question.
I've done this before.
Could tell.
Maybe someday there might be a show and you all will be on my couch and we'll be talking about it in front of a live camera.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got two ways to go as a teenager. You know, it could destroy you, or it can, like, you know, it will govern you. It'll change who you are. So, I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to discover with these characters, especially. We're gonna. I mean, she's going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, it might be very dark.
Well, a lot of time when I'm doing my live shows, I'll ask people in the front, we're like, well, what do you do in life? And then I'd like to determine how well they would survive in a zombie apocalypse. And of course, because it's my show, most people are like, I'm a programmer. I'm like, you're dead, you know. So one guy might go like, oh, you know, I work construction. I'm like, you are now the president of the apocalypse. So, I mean, it's a question. How well do you think you guys would do in the apocalypse? You think you guys would do okay? You would die. Yeah, me too. We would all.
I would be great. I'll just make myself up as a zombie and then I'd be fine. So everybody will show up at my shop the day the zombie outbreak happens. I'll make you all up as zombies and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if the apocalypse happens, I'm going to Gail's house. She is so ready. She's already prepared. 100%.
All right. What's in your zombie preparedness kit?
3 years of food, water.
I did the same thing. I swear to God, after I started working on this show, I went to like a couple
And I'm not
survivalist
telling
websites.
anybody where I live.
I have like a basement that's just full of like boxes of water and tabs to make
Yeah,
water drinkable.
survivalists have nothing on me.
Yeah, I don't know how to tie knots or make fire, so I'd die, but I have a lot of water. So I could be panicking for a month before I died of starvation. Elizabeth Rodriguez, what can you tell us about Liza?
I think they're fans of another show. I can tell you that she is Travis's ex-wife and the mother of Chris, played by Lorenzo. They were married for about 12 years and they've been separated, divorced.
13 years.
Oh, sorry. I forget.
This is
I
why the
forget
marriage
these-
didn't work.
I forget these things. We've been divorced for 3, separated for 3. And she's very protective of Chris. And she is going to nursing school, which plays a very important role in Outbreak.
You would survive.
President.
President.
And she sort of had to put her life on hold in her dreams. And so now she's sort of burning the candle on both ends. And so she sort of doesn't take any BS. I think she's really nurturing. And she kind of comes into this world, into the Clark house. So then there's 2 adult women and 3 children, and my character wasn't supposed to be Latina. It's really important stuff.
Yay.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, especially because there's a whole other storyline that is that. And so I think that was really exciting for me, that I'm just playing a woman.
Nice.
That's all I got. Sorry.
I think I just like the dynamic. I mean, I can almost see it. It's almost a sitcom too. It's like your ex moves in with you and their family during the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
It would be a sitcom if there wasn't an apocalypse.
If there wasn't an apocalypse and people's faces being eaten off, yeah. Lorenzo, how old is Chris in the show?
16.
He's 16 years old.
And I'm mute.
I don't talk.
I'm very protective of him.
You are.
Want to talk to me, you have to go through Elizabeth.
So what? How quickly did you guys have to sort of get to know each other and form your off-camera relationships to basically, approximate the fact that you've been a family for a while in this horrible situation?
I literally met everyone on the day of the table read in Vancouver, but it was we bonded very quickly. It was we all talked to each other and hung out, talked about our character backgrounds and everything. So we all really got along with each other, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys have some concept of this, but if this show works out, I mean, you're going to be you're going to be family. Like, it's the ride that I'm so excited that you might be standing on the edge of right now. You probably shouldn't think about it too much because you crap your pants, but having watched what happened with Walking Dead and how much that became a part of people's lives and seeing how close they became to each other, I mean, are you ready for what could potentially be a very wonderful, intense, a lot of responsibility?
Is that directed to me?
Yeah.
Or to everyone?
Yeah, you're a man now. It's time to grow up.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best things about working on the show is that I couldn't be more grateful to have such an amazing cast. I mean, I look up to Cliff and Kim and Frank's like my brother. I mean, Alicia, everyone is like family. It's been such an amazing experience.
I like to walk a lot in New York City, and this is gonna get in the way of my freedom.
Sorry,
In LA, it's a little easier, you get in your
No
car.
one walks in LA.
Yeah, you do not walk in Los Angeles. Even if it's like a block, you get in your car and you
I
drive
might
that
have
block.
to invest in some wigs.
Yeah. LA is not a pedestrian. People are walking. You're like, what happened? Like, it's so strange to see people walking around.
Yeah.
They're probably just walking next door, but that's as far as you'd want to go.
Yeah. Or on Runyon Canyon.
Or on Runyon Canyon. Yeah. People on Runyon Canyon are a little arty.
Yeah.
This is totally unrelated. This is why I don't go to Runyon Canyon.
Sorry.
I was walking up Runyon Canyon and these 2 obnoxious people were walking down, and all I heard of their conversation was, my friend Emily totally levitated. And I'm like, I'm never coming back to this place again. I'm never coming to Runyon Canyon again.
Chris, that was me. I'm sorry.
I would love to talk to Ruben Blades, who I'm so excited is on the show. And I don't think it had been announced before. Your character is Daniel Salazar, and we saw a little piece of him in the trailer, but how did you get involved with the show, and what does it mean to you, and what can you tell us about Daniel?
And it was a wonderful. I always say that the first motivation for an actor to work is unemployment. And this role, I felt good about accepting it because it's a very complex character. Daniel Salazar is a very complex character in that that also joined to the fact that I really like science fiction were two of the deciding factors. I mean, this is a really interesting character. He's a barber. He's a man that has come from a different environment, different society, to start a life elsewhere with his family, daughter, and Patricia Espíndola, who's playing my wife, is an excellent actress, a Mexican actress. And events occur that force him to revisit a past that he was trying to get away from. So it's a really interesting role, and it's a great group of people. And I'm a musician, basically, and I've been very lucky in that I've been able to work in film and television. In the past, I did Predator 2 with Danny Glover, and then I did an episode of The X-Files, which I really wanted to do. I hounded Chris Carter until he gave me a role, and I said, please don't kill me, and he did.
They're doing more of those. You should talk to him again.
I know. I did speak to David in Vancouver, and so it's a great opportunity. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity and to be able to work with these great group of people. Really, very, very lucky, I feel.
Great. Well, I know everyone's excited to have you on the show. Mercedes, I also didn't think it's been announced that your character is Ophelia Salazar. So who is she?
So I played Daniel's daughter, and I was born and raised in the States to immigrant parents, so I've got a lot of the wanting to improve myself and wanting to make sure that I succeed. And Ophelia is quite protective of her parents. She definitely wants to make sure that they're taken care of and that there's no language barrier, because her mother is not quite fluent in English, so she's very protective. And then when the proverbial shit hits the fan, Ophelia, who thinks she knows a lot, is quite naive and realizes that maybe she can rely on her parents far more than she thought. So there's a huge dynamic and a huge change in what happens, and she has to realize, like everybody else, what she's capable of and who she can rely on and what family really means. And also, speaking of which, really importantly, Gail, I have to find out where you live then, because if there's an apocalypse, I'm going to starve in 6 hours. I have nothing in my cupboards.
I think we can go open the floor to questions for Q&A if you guys have some questions. We have about 15 minutes. Turn on the spotlight. Step forward. The whole world is watching you. Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Brian.
Hey Brian, what's your question?
Well, first off, it's pretty cool being the first person to ask a question for all of this panel.
Oh my God, this better be an amazing question.
Well, there's not much known, so I guess my question would be for the cast: was it easy to transition into your characters that you're portraying? And do you think do you see yourselves a lot like them? If not,
yeah. Are there similarities between yourself and the characters you guys are playing, Kim?
Jeez. Well, I don't know, Dave.
There's no resemblance between you and Madison whatsoever.
I mean, it's sort of hard because they can't.
My character is a lot like me, I think.
Yeah? How so?
Because I'm nurturing. I'm very nurturing by nature.
Very soft-spoken,
and I'm very sensitive, and I don't really take BS in my real life. And so he wrote a character that had all those qualities.
That's kind of nice.
Except for the fact that in real life I don't like blood, I can't handle it, and so when I was doing nursey stuff, I was a little like, oh.
I think that's what they officially call it, is nursing stuff.
Nursing stuff, nursing stuff, you know.
To do nursing stuff. Next question. Hi.
Hey.
What's your name?
Hi, my name's Dominique.
Hey, what's your question?
Hi, I was just actually wanting to speak to Elizabeth Rodriguez. I love you, by the way. You're great on Orange is the New Black. You're amazing. I love you. But my question is basically, how is the show different, Fear the Walking Dead, compared to Orange is the New Black? And has it kind of made a time crunch for you as far as filming both?
Has it been a time crunch?
Well, first of all, I think she wanted to know how the shows are different.
Okay, they're different because in prison, we have the rules. We know who the enemies are. We know who our allies are. In this world, and we also have an end date. We know we're getting out. It's a minimum security prison, and so you know the rules. There is absolutely the survival mode. In this world, there are no rules, and it's the real family, and we're figuring out as we go, and there's a lot of fear in the unknown. The time crunch, I was really lucky because we had a break of 10 days, so I ran back, I flew to New York and got to do 2 episodes, and they were so excited. FYI, the producers of Orange are enormous fans of The Walking Dead, so they were like so excited to have me be part of this.
Excellent. That was a really nice answer, by the way.
Thank you.
You totally could have been like, the prison doesn't have zombies. Next question.
I'll do that later. We're new. I'm trying to be.
No, that was a very eloquent, wonderful answer. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Gary.
And what's your question?
I just had a question. Would the cast of the Fear of the Walking Dead ever meet the cast from The Walking Dead?
I want to meet Rick. I've been campaigning to meet Rick Grimes because I got a bromance going on with the man. I think it's cool.
I don't know if you want to, but I don't know if you want to meet him where he's at right now. He's a little intense.
Very bloody.
I want to get some
Very
tips.
There are no plans right now to conflate the 2 stories.
First of all, grow a beard. You gotta grow a beard. Cliff, you have to grow the beard. That's the first step. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's gonna be one of the biggest questions is where do these worlds intersect? Are they gonna meet at some point? And
I think Scott Gimple would kill me if I ever pitched that idea. I think it's it would be geographically quite complicated. I think when you have 2 shows the way they do that live inside the same mythology, you would love them to collide at some point, but there's no plan to do that yet.
Okay. Will the cast of Fear meet the cast of Doctor Who? I'm just curious. I don't know if I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right.
That
So
we-
that's official.
that we can
You
do.
said that they will meet the cast of Doctor Who. It's an alien thing. There's some alien things causing a virus. So what about the sonic screwdriver and everything will be fine. What is your name?
Hi, my name is Lonnie.
And what's your question?
I have a question. I love the clip where Ms. Dickens was interacting with a student who saw the internet that zombies were happening. Did that help you to accept that zombies were real sooner than the other cast members, and did that help you survive? I know that Nicotero is directing, so I was just wondering.
I couldn't quite catch all that.
She was wondering, just so you guys know, you almost have to, first of all, don't think about germs. And you kind of have to just put your face right on the microphone.
There's no viruses to be scared of.
At this point.
She left.
Yet.
So I think what she wanted to know was, with the student showing you the footage on the phone, do you think that helps your character begin to accept what's happening quicker than the other characters?
Well, I think with the character that you saw, Tobias, in the clip, he's a special kid, and I think in a way he becomes, for me, someone that I click into and listen to. But I base, my evolution of belief is based on other things as well, but there is a special relationship I have with that kid. He has a certain understanding of that world.
Okay, cool.
I think there's an interesting moment too where you say, "Oh, don't believe everything you read on the internet," and then your character says, "Well, if something was really going down, the authorities would be there to help us."
Yeah.
And
Do you really think the authorities would be there to help any of us?
This is why you follow Gail. I'm telling you.
No, but I think that's interesting because there is a belief. There is a belief that we are protected, and you have to, especially with your character who's a guidance counselor.
Yeah.
That's your job is to
to
take
put
care
them at ease.
take care of those kids. And when you have one that might be talking about something that sounds a little crazy, that's what we all believe. If there was a natural disaster or earthquake or something, they always say, stay in your house, stay here, do this, do that. There's a natural belief in our society that we won't be lied to and that people will take care of us. And that's sort of what your character is about, is taking care of those other people. So I think it's a fascinating moment where you have that comment where it's like, well, the authorities would tell us if something was going on.
Exactly.
Well, the illusion, like we have to live with the illusion of safety.
Yes.
We have to. But you know, you watch a show like this and you start to realize like, oh yeah, we're never safe ever, and we should be crapping our pants all the time. Like we're always like a minute away from society collapsing, and the fact that it hasn't is remarkable.
Yeah, we really rely on that faith bit that we're protecting.
Yeah.
Now, the scariest thing about working in this world is you do all this research on actually what would happen if things broke down, and you start learning about like, okay, if there was an interruption of food supply, basically all food in a major city would be gone in 3 days.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's not scary.
This is like your how-to panel to survive the whatever apocalypse happens.
3 days.
Go to Gail's house.
Next question.
Wait, is that?
Hi, yes. First, I'd like to say that it's nice to see a strong Latin cast on a major television network.
Wepa.
And I would also like to ask if there will be any LA trademarks that will be overrun or shot, like the Staples Center or something of that nature.
Is that what you're asking?
Oh.
Yeah, go.
I just want something more exciting than the Lakers.
You walked off with swagger on that.
No, he rolled off on those giant balls.
How about the freeway?
Yeah, he had to wheel those balls away.
He just dropped the mic.
He's running out. He's running out.
He's running out there. Oh shit.
So I guess we don't have to answer that question.
It doesn't matter. I don't know anything about sports. They could be a hockey team for all I know. I don't care. Oh, screw sports. I don't care. Screw it. Screw sports.
Staples Center's not going down.
All right.
It's not yet.
What is your question?
Hi, my name is Jeannie. My question has to do with character development. Given the stressful situation that the characters are in, it's understandable for people to fall into things that they know, but we have very strong female cast members. So I was wondering if there was discussion about whether or not people would be in traditional gender roles in terms of how they respond to the apocalypse, or if we were going to get some female badassery from the very beginning.
There's definitely going to be a lot of female badassedness very early on. I mean, it's part of the dynamics and the dynamic of this show in particular with the cast we have. I think we will turn things on their head a bit more than would be expected, I think, out of the gate. And I think you actually saw it in the trailer. I mean, Kim kind of goes badass within the first few episodes, so there's something to look forward to. Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, what is your name?
My name's Adam, and Chris, thank you for what you do. I appreciate you working hard.
Adam, please, you're embarrassing me in front of all these people. Keep talking.
So I just want to know how class and political structure will affect, the show, because LA is so diverse, and we're kind of strange here in California as compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, LA isn't really a city. Like, it's just a bunch of little sub-villages connected by shitty traffic. Like, there's no... It's the worst planned city in America with the worst airport, and there's nothing about LA that's really like a unified... It doesn't really have a unified identity. When you talk to people from other towns and you're like... And they ask you about downtown LA, you're like, man, no one really goes there. Like, it's not really, there's no central part of Los Angeles. So in a city like this, that's a wonderful question, that's so multi-layered, class-wise, culturally, how does it sort of fan out, and how are you dealing with that?
I mean, this show for us, it's anchored mostly in East LA. We shot it in a neighborhood that's close to downtown. And it's, part of the benefit of, the sprawl of the city is that what's happening in Burbank is not happening necessarily in Brentwood. What's happening in El Sereno is not necessarily happening in San Juan. I mean, it's because it's so spread out, it's actually isolating in a way. And I think what happens on our show ultimately is that our family kind of, turns in on itself in a way. We end up going back to our, to our space, our neighborhood, our house, and we don't know. That's part of the tension of the show, is not knowing exactly what's going on out beyond beyond the borders of our own little community. And I think it creates actually a great deal more tension, wondering what's going on in the world, and waiting to find out if if somebody's going to come and save us. The expectation is that the authorities will come and they will protect us and they will make everything all right. And that's actually something we played with throughout the season. You know, it's,
And there's the expectation that if you have money, you can buy your way out of the apocalypse, and that's something else we'll be dealing with in this season.
Yeah, cannot. Hopefully it'll sort of start to merge with the Californian sketch on SNL. You're like, the zombies are here. They took the 405 and they got off at Sepulveda. Then they went to the 118 and they were like right into Northridge. That's how we communicate in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you think the traffic's bad now. You just wait.
Just wait till the apocalypse. Hey man, what's your name?
My name is Mike. This question is for the producers and actually for you, Chris. With your years of doing Talking Dead, will we actually see you guest star as a survivor or a zombie in any one of these?
First of all, my favorite question of the panel. You know, Nicotero the first couple seasons he many times said, come down to Atlanta, we'll make you a walker. And you know, I went through the process on Talking Dead, and it's intense. It's an intense, like 2-hour process, and it's uncomfortable, and I am feeble. So I had never really just had an opportunity to get back and do it. But then I think at a certain point, I think the problem for me as a fan of the show is I sort of took myself out of the pool, because if you see me, it kind of takes you out of the show. You know what I mean? Like if you see me, and by the way, I would never have survived the apocalypse. But if you saw my face, I just feel like it would take you out of the show.
But we wouldn't recognize you.
That's true, but you would in the. I mean, I am in Los Angeles. I would be in Los Angeles, but I don't. It wouldn't be like a Scooby-Doo moment where they're in Georgia and they're like, Chris Hardwick, hey gang. Like I'm not. You know.
Well, we could actually.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I would do it if you wanted me to do it, but I just wouldn't want to get in the way. The biggest thing for me, and the thing that actually hurts my feelings the most, is if someone doesn't like Talking Dead and they go, you're ruining Walking Dead. I go, well, first of all, I'm avoidable. That's your problem. But second of all, I never want that. I never want to be the case, because I'm such a fan of the show and I'm such a fan of the universe that I never want to get in the way of it. I just want to be this sort of outside SpongeBob with Tracy Flick energy, who is very excited about, the show.
We're writing that character into the show, so I mean, that's perfect.
The guy, I would be the super excited girl, like, isn't this awesome? And then I would instantly die. So yeah, it's up to you guys. I would do it, but I would understand if not. Yes, what is your name and question?
My name's Johan.
And what is your question?
My question is a quick question for Ruben. I love your music. Tu música, hermano, excelente.
Gracias.
I wanted to see, what do you think you would have better chances at surviving? The Predator or the zombies?
I would say the zombies. But, yeah, I would say the zombies. It's Predator, it's hard to locate the sucker.
Yeah, the zombies aren't invisible.
Right.
Invisible zombies. There you go. Season 2.
All right, we have time for one more question. And what is your question, sir?
My name is Diego, and
wow. Your fan club's right up here, Diego.
So I'm a huge fan of yours, Ruben Blades. You are my favorite singer-songwriter ever.
Gracias.
So I love Comic-Con, because this could only happen at Comic-Con. You being here, I love it.
But I collect comic books too, you know.
My question for you is, how do you find the time to make Grammy-winning albums and music and acting? Are you working on something in set, or how do you do that?
I actually try to, when I do something, I dedicate my full time to that. When I was working in government, I worked for 5 years. I didn't do anything else. When I go to record, I have like 5 albums that I have recorded already. And I start putting them out slowly. Actually, there's one out about 3 weeks ago.
What's the name of it?
Son de Panama.
Oh, wow.
And now we got this show, my band is rooting that I die soon, because, you know, I'm the singer in the band, so when I'm not there, the band doesn't work.
Well, that's not going to happen.
I'm saying, I try to do one thing at a time. And now I'm just doing this, and then there'll be a hiatus for some months, and I probably will take, the band and go and tour a little bit, and then sleep like 2 months. Because this is really hard work. This is really tough. I've been running up and down and doing things I haven't done since I was 20.
Excellent. Thank you, Diego. Don't forget to say hi to your fan club up here, who's very happy. Now, Gail, you wanted to make one announcement before we let everyone...
Okay, first of all, there's going to be a test. What is the premiere date and time of Fear the Walking Dead? Come on, guys. Absolutely. And this is really special. Around the world, AMC Global, which is premiering the show, for those of you who live in different time zones, wake up, set your clock, because it is going to be an international premiere in over 100 countries at the exact same time.
Yeah!
Everywhere. So you don't have to avoid social media. You can follow the timelines. You can be on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and experience Fear the Walking Dead around the world. It is a global event.
Yes, wonderful. So that means August 23rd at 8 p.m. there's a Talking Dead Summer Special, and then at 9 it's Fear the Walking Dead, and then we're going to be doing the Talking Dead for the season finale of Fear on October 4th. So please, huge round of applause. I hope this is the first of many that you get to take the journey with us. I'm very excited for all of you. I genuinely am, and I hope I get to see you on a couch sometime soon in a non-creepy way. Huge hand for Fear the Walking Dead, everyone! I will see you in a couple hours for Star Wars: The Force Awakens.